You guys can be seated. You know, when you move somewhere to plant a church, as we did, we linked up with the Southern Baptist Convention office here. That's how I grew up. And so Neil McGlowan, and many of you have heard this story, we reached out to them and said, hey, we're planting a church. And he kind of interviewed me and said, hey, we'll give you some sponsorship and help give you some upfront money to be able to keep doing that. And so that's a huge part. Baptist Metro Atlanta Ministry is a huge part of Team Church. But another big part of Team Church, especially in the facility we're sitting in, is a guy by the name of Roger Braswell. So Roger, I'm going to invite you to come up and join me. As he is coming up, would you give Roger a huge hand? Go ahead and take a seat, Roger. We were talking about today when I first met Roger, he was my age, and I thought, hey, you know what? 23 years later, because I met him about 2 years after we got here, I said, man, when I'm 71 years old, I hope I look as good as you, brother. All right, you're looking good. So here's the story. So we're starting the church. We're doing really well, and through Baptist Metro Atlanta Ministries, Neil introduces me to Roger. Church was growing, and so we started to, we were meeting at Butler High School at the time. We were like, you know what, we got enough people, and we need our own facility. And so we started this stewardship campaign and said, man, we got to get out of these high schools. We had gone from Crestdale Middle School to the Regal Cinemas to South Mecklenburg High School and then to Butler High School. And we're like, hey, we feel like we want to be called right here in this area. And so we started saving our pennies and dimes and did a stewardship campaign. And we were a lot smaller then, and people gave, and people were like, man, we were excited. And we went and started talking to the bank, and they're like, hey, everything looks great, but you're a new, young church. We were 4 years old by that time, end of 2004, beginning of 2005. You're a young church. Not a lot of people, not a lot of money that you brought in. And so we really can't start the construction and building what we're in now. You just don't have it. And so I had met Roger, and I had talked to him a little bit. And Roger, I'm not even sure where I got the courage to do it, but I think I did. I mean, I know I got the courage. So I asked Roger and talked about it, and he prayed. And here's an amazing thing. The reason he's sitting here is because we would not be in this building as fast as we did, because Roger, who's a business owner, he stepped up and just had gotten to know me over about 6 months, believed in our vision, believed what God was doing. And Roger signed on the dotted line. He co-signed and covered the loan for us. And the bank said, if you guys can't come through and pay it and be able to pay it, Roger said, I will do that. That's an incredible deal. So Roger's never been, he's from here, he's got his own church. I thought for sure you'd been here before, he'd never been here before. So Roger, here's the question. You meet me, okay, and when we're talking, you trust Neil, and we talk, we cast vision. You had your Dingo Toro business, you're a business guy. Why would you sign your company's name to cover and co-sign that large of a loan? It was a little over $3 million. That large of a loan to people you had just met about for 6 months. You put your tail on the line.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Well, I might have got talked into it by a fast-talking young pastor. Might have. Yeah. But actually, when it all came about, I felt the Holy Spirit calling me to step up and to do something to help Kenny in this church. And I didn't want to end up in the belly of a whale. So I thought maybe I better say yes and step up and step into that moment. So, and you know, it was a big step for the church to take this building on. Even before that, you remember we negotiated with Mel Graham about the piece of property, and that worked out to your favor. But I just felt the Lord calling me to do it, so I did it. And you know, there's a time in all of our lives many times in our lives when we can either step up and step into the moment and do what the Spirit is calling us to do, or we can step back and say somebody else is going to do it, right? And if we step up, we never know. We might sit in a room and see those young people, on that screen this morning. Amazing. Just got me. So awesome to see that, see the work this church has done, to see the impact this church has had, to see the lives, see it this morning. I'm telling you, I'm overcome by it. And can't believe I haven't been here in 25 years. But I made the tent meeting, if you were at the tent meeting out there on Tilly Morris. But yeah, it's amazing.
So Roger signs, he puts his name on the line. And in 2005, they start this construction, and we move in here June of 2006, and we're growing, and things are going well. And Roger would not tell you this, but he's a business guy, right? So he's buying and selling properties. He's buying and selling businesses. That's just what he does. And some challenging times, we don't have to go into it, but some challenging times hit a couple of those businesses. And he contacted me, not to say anything, but just, he just contacted me and said, hey, how's it going? Because he wasn't able to do some things that he would have been able to do. You know why? Because his name was on our loan. And so some of the things he needed to do when some of the businesses had some challenges. And so Roger, I knew that. We talked about it then. I told you thank you. And I'm glad that I had showed you some of those videos of Peyton, who you, of course, have met before. But you're absolutely right. You stepped up into the moment. And this here is a result of a lot of volunteers, a lot of work, 25 years of work, but the ability for us to be in this building, to be in Matthews, God could have done it later. Like you said, somebody else could have done it, but you stepped up. You stepped up, and I'm telling you right now, that changed everything for us, for me, but I knew we're going to be able to move forward, and the construction started, and it was because you stepped up and did that. And so I wanted to tell you thank you for that, and you're exactly right. It is the moments that we have those opportunities, right? And so now our church is 25 years. This building has been here since 2006, so it's been that long since you signed up. And even in that time, matter of fact, I'm going to ask you to raise your hand if you have been at Teen Church. Back then it was called Charlotte South before we moved here, celebrated our 10-year anniversary, changed the name. But if you've been with us and you started coming before we moved into this building, raise your hand. Give those people a hand.
Wow.
So we have well over, I think we set up 545 chairs. There's about 550 people in here. And so looked about 30 people maybe raised their hands. So everybody has come post-building being here, Roger, and that is because you stepped up. You put it on the line. You trusted God first.
Glory to him.
You trusted
All
us.
glory to him.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
You trusted us, and this is, and there's so many people who couldn't be here, and there's been tons of ministry. You saw all those kids, right? The amount of people kids who have come through our church who are in full-time ministry is incredible. We couldn't put everybody up there, and so we try to get those who've been here all the way through kids ministry, middle school and high school, and that kind of stuff. But this is an aspect of your legacy, and I'm so thankful for you.
Thank you for that. Hey, let me ask a favor of all of you. I'd like to ask you to pray for the nation of Haiti.
Yes.
Our family works in Haiti, and with me this morning are two young women, Woodland and Ernice, who both grew up in Haiti, who are... Our niece is at Wingate University, made the president's list last semester. Woodland is here for medical treatment and is taking voice and piano lessons while she's here, leads worship back home. It's my wife, Teresa, and my sister, Joy, are with me today, too. Please lift the nation of Haiti up. Man, they're in big trouble.
This guy doesn't just do companies and businesses. He starts missions and ministries. We have it here behind you. It's the Give Hope. As a matter of fact, this is cool. Roger's written a leadership entrepreneurial faith book. It's out here. We're selling it out here. All proceeds go to Give Hope. And somewhere as you're binding in there, you will see the story and hear the story of when Roger stepped into the moment. Right? That's the name of the book, right? Stepping into the moment. Yep. He stepped into the moment, signed his name, covered our loan. Incredible ministries have happened. And so we got a couple of sentences in the book there. He kind of mentions that. And so it is. It's Roger, thank you. Thank you for stepping in the moment. As soon as we knew we were going to have the 25th anniversary, we were going to do it this style. We're just kind of talking and doing stuff. I knew you had to be here. I texted you to be here. I'm so glad you came here with your family. Thank you so much for your wife. And as Roger goes, let's give him not just a clap. I think we owe him a standing ovation. Thank you, brother. That's awesome. We moved here to plant the church we talked about, and I had been a youth pastor, and Kelly and I moved here, And people say, what do you want to do? I said, well, when we planted our church, only about 5% of church plants made it, so it was kind of a shot in the dark anyway. We were a little bit stupid and dumb, so it was really a shot in the dark. The Lord did amazing things. We always said we want to be at a church and plant our lives where we could do life together, that we would see it. I have messages that I still have on my computer where I was in 1999, 2000, 2001, casting vision saying, we want to be at a place where we see kids that are birthed through our church. We get hold, we know their families. We watch them do this life thing and grow up. And so Peyton is the original OG. If you want, what does OG mean? It means the original godly kid. That's what I think he told me it meant. I was like, you really said that on video? Anyway, he's the original because he was here, but we do have a poster child. We do have a poster child. Meredith Russell, come on up, give her a hand. We started at Crestdale Middle School in 1999. The Newtons and Russells show up. The Newtons have 5 kids. I meet Jenny and Brian Russell. Like, yeah, my sister's got 5 kids. I ain't having 5 kids. She was pregnant at the time, didn't know it. And so in July, right? July of 1999, we started in January. Meredith is born. Step to the middle. You sing here all the time. You're good. Meredith is born. You see all the pictures. My favorite picture of Meredith is Meredith playing Mary in our, how old were you then?
Probably 16.
Yeah, so she played Mary. Anyway, she's been singing here. I have her up here because I told her, you're the poster child, right? What do I mean by poster child? We want to be a part of a church that kids get born, they're born, they go through babies and kids ministry and middle school ministry and high school ministry. She went off to Liberty University, she's come back, she's now working for Billy Graham. If you come here on a regular basis, which most of you do, she sings, she's a volunteer worship leader, she works with our middle schoolers. But Meredith, and I told Brian and Jenny this is the poster child. What I mean by that is this, is that for a pastor, it's an incredible deal to know that I literally was there when she watched. I didn't watch the birth, but I was there when, I was there when she was born. And now you'll turn 25 next January, right? So because the church turns 25 in January, she turns 25 in July. But when we came here, we told people we want to be a part of and create a church that's about relationships and people and doing life together. So Meredith, these pictures represent your journey over here. If you want to see a really fun picture, this is Christy Newton. That's Jenny Russell, and that's my wife in 1999. So anyway, Meredith, I know you're horribly embarrassed. I told you we were going to do this. Jenny, thanks for getting the pictures. Love you guys. You guys have been here the whole run too. And so give it up for the poster child. If you're new here, maybe you're a young single, you're not married yet, or you're a young couple, whatever. Again, 25 years, we're going to be talking about, there's another chapter coming, right? And that's what this church is about. Are there ups and downs? Yes. Do we make mistakes? Yes. Are there challenges? Yes. It's marriages and funerals and all kinds of stuff, right? It's called life. And so if you are here and you're starting your families, this is what Team Church is about. This is why we have all of the ministries that we have, so that one day your kid can be on a video when we're doing the 50th anniversary, or they'll come up here and your kid can be the poster child or whatever. And what we mean by that is this place is about relationships, right? It's about relationships. Matter of fact, you see it everywhere. The Team Church One Purpose. Here's the Team Church One Purpose. This one purpose was developed in 1999, we said we got to make a one purpose statement that's easy, to reach people where they are and lead them to full devotion in Jesus Christ. Reach people where they are. Maybe you're here, you're not even a Christian. Maybe someone invited you. Maybe you saw something, you're like, I want some free ice cream. Doesn't matter, you're here. Reach people where they are, if they don't know anything about God or they were turned off by church, and then lead to full devotion in Jesus Christ. That's what Team Church has been doing for 25 years. And many of you have come to Christ here, you've been baptized here, and that is what we do. We do every year, too, is we always have a vision, right? We always have a vision, and we have missions and ministries. And so one of the things we want to do today is it's very exciting, very exciting. to continue the celebration, I'm going to let our church planter in Missoula say hey to you, and then he's going to introduce a very, very exciting thing that's coming in 2024.
Hey there, Team Church. Happy 25th anniversary. That is just incredible from where you guys have come since 1999. That is unbelievable. If we have not met, my name is Brad Saab, and I had the incredible privilege of serving on staff with Team Church from 2007 to 2012 as the youth pastor there. Met my wife there. She was the Pursuit intern when I was the Pursuit youth pastor. That was Pastor Kenny Hibbard playing matchmaker right there. Good times. We eventually came out to Missoula, Montana, and we were Team Church's 5th church plant. So you guys have a kingdom-minded church there that loves to plant churches, and they sent us out, and we launched in January of 2020 right into COVID, but God has been faithful, and we now have an incredible congregation that is meeting on one of the busiest roads in all of Montana. So that's just you guys being faithful and you guys continuing to chase hard after God and see what he does with you. I was so pumped to hear when Kenny told me that you guys are going to be planting number six, your 6th church plant. That is a multiplication-minded church right there in St. Petersburg, Florida. And that is super exciting to hear about. That's super exciting to watch. I can't wait to see how God uses you guys. You've been so faithful with the first 25. I'm so pumped to see what God does with you in the next 25. Y'all keep up the killer work. Stay faithful. Keep chasing Jesus. We love you guys. We're grateful for you. And congrats again on the first 25 years. Bye.
Brad Saab. Nexus. What is nexus? A nexus is a point where two things come together in harmony. It's the connection point. And so we continue to have this. This is what we're having for next year. Nexus, connecting our past to God's future. We are going to be planting another church. You guys know AJ and Liberty Holt have been here now 10 years as our student pastor and doing a great job. Well, we are going to be sending them off for the Nexus because we are going to make a connection point between Team Church and St. Petersburg. And so put the slide up here. It's already up there. So AJ and Liberty and the whole crew right there are going to be moving in 2024 to St. Petersburg to start Artisan City Church. For more information, of course, you can go there. If you're not sure where, I continue to learn that some people don't know where things are on the map. I was talking to somebody that day about Wisconsin. They said, is that in the South? So there it is, Tampa, St. Petersburg, right there. It is a very challenging city. A place that when I grew up in Florida would have been a whole lot more conservative, Christian kind of stuff. Definitely not there. So we're going to be praying for them because they are a part of our Nexus, which is this. Nexus is the idea that we have a vision, that we're celebrating 25 years. Well, what comes next? I had someone ask me, Roger even asked me, what are you're 52 years old, you're getting kind of old. You know what? I was like, listen, we got another 25 years in us. The Lord has called us here. Myself, my wife, our staff, we're all committed. We are committed to what God's going to do in the next 25 years. So this idea of Nexus is what? 25 years, poof, in January it's going to close. That chapter is going to close. But what's the next 25 years? Well, we have to have a connection point of harmony. Why do we have to have a connection point of harmony? So that we can continue to do missions and ministry. So we are going to be the connection point to sending AJ and Liberty to St. Petersburg, just like we've done for 5 other churches, just like Brad and Margaret are in Missoula. You know, I go out there in the summer and speak there and help, and they're doing a great job. This is a connection point. And so as we think about the next 25 years, we begin to pray. Our lead team, our leadership team, our staff began to pray. We're like, hey, what does the next 25 years look like? And this is where we got this idea of Nexus, which is this idea of this connection point. As you can see in the logo, it's next us. So what is the next thing for us? What is the connection point for us? We're absolutely going to continue with our Go Missions. We're actually going to continue with another church plant, but then also I'm very excited to announce to you that we have put in motion to go to the next place, which is we believe, and you can tell by the crowd, by the amount of kids we got, we need more space for kids and student ministries, all the things that you saw. And so we're going to move into the rest of this year and then move into 24. For 25 months, we're going to have this Nexus Stewardship Campaign. We're so excited to introduce to you today that we believe now is the time for us to build phase 2 of our building. Most of you raised your hand. You've been in this building. So Roger and some of those people who raised their hand, those who have come before us, they have prayed and cast vision, and we've been enjoying that ministry. What about the next 25 years? And so one of the things that we have been doing is looking at this, and I want to put this up here because this group here has been working so hard. We put together many months ago a team to start thinking about. So Kurt Wood is our team leader. These are the team. These people are civil engineers and builders and architects and all that kind of stuff. And they have been spending months. Our leadership team started praying this time last year. Hey, when is phase 2 coming? When do we take that Nexus type of step? We're like, 25th anniversary. Absolutely, the 25th anniversary. We're going to plant more churches. We're going to build another building because ministries have to continue to expand and grow. And so I'm going to step over here. We're going to quickly show you what have we designed, what has this group designed, and what is coming. And we're hoping that everything goes well, that in 25 months, right, 25-year anniversary, 25 months starting in January, that we can build this, extend our atrium towards the parking lot, build that second building over there, and you'll get way more information about what's going in there. For the most part, it is about kids ministry. It's about growing aspects of discipleship for adults. We're going to put designated office space in there so that we can free up where we now have to go in the day for in the kids area there, because we know that we want to be purposeful about what? About the vision of what the next 25 years looks like. And we know we need more kid space. We need more student space. We know we need more adult education space. It is about discipleship and missions and ministry. So we're excited. We're just going to roll through here real quick and show you some more that this team's been working on. The architects that come up. The building's going to be right there. So where the patio now is, this is going to be a turfed area where we can have hangouts. You know that our co-op is going well. We don't know what the future holds, right? We don't know what the future holds, but we know that there continues to be some challenges. Homeschooling's going through the roof. We want to be available for co-ops. Someone said, are we going to ever have a school? Don't know, but if we ever do, we'll need space. And so we are preparing for what the Lord wants us to do. So that'll be that space there. It's a great connection space. Meeting with friends. Go to the next one. This is the indoor, so also the current space upstairs in the kids area is going to have a complete renovation, and then you can see the new part there. So we are very excited about that. This is Nexus. When you see Nexus, what is Nexus? Nexus is the connection point between our past and God's future. And we celebrate that. We're enthused about that. The leadership team, the staffing, many leaders have been praying through it. We believe now is the time. Just like Roger said, now is the time to step into the moment. And many of us will be able to do what we believe God wants us to do in this idea of the new place. So here's our Nexus purpose. The Nexus purpose is this. And I'm going to go really fast through this because we want to make sure that we have time to party. But I wanted you to know what happens when you gather this many people under one vision, under one purpose. What's the Team Church one purpose? Reach people where they are and lead them to full devotion. This facility is a tool, and this tool has been doing it very, very well since we moved in June of 2006. It's time to add to that tool. And so when we think about what is the purpose, and one of them is this, it's just faithful obedience. We're going to put some pictures up here. So this is their building you're sitting in. This was a Wednesday night prayer time. You can tell the walls were still going up. We absolutely broke all the rules. When the contractor got the people who were building it, like, you put people in there and did a prayer thing with no hard helmets like that. I was like, hey. So that was the first time anybody gathered in here. You can see, everybody from our church didn't show up that night. They probably knew the rules. But that was a good group. But that's the ones who carried the mantle. That's the ones who said, what are we going to do with our lives? How are we going to step into it? So here's the deal. The purpose, when you do a stewardship campaign and say, hey, how do we begin to do something that's so extraordinary that we can never do on our own, but we can do all together? It's this idea of faithful obedience. What do I mean by faithful obedience? When I was in Montana last summer, I felt as though the Lord was saying, hey, now is the time. Now is the time. Church has been growing. Things have been going well. The future is very uncertain. now is the time. Started praying through it, felt it, had our lead team. We started praying through it. They prayed for many months in the early winter of this year. They all met, we all met. It's like, you know what? We believe the Lord's in it. Staff started praying about it. Other leaders started praying about it. And at some point, Roger, you preaching my sermon for you. At some point, it's just about faithful obedience. So somebody's like, well, the economy's not good right now. Faithful obedience. Man, they're not sure what's going to happen in the next 2 years with inflation like us. Faithful obedience. All we know is, best we can know God's will, that this is where we need to go. We need to be planting another church, which is our missions arm, and our ministries here have to continue. So it's absolutely faithful obedience. Also, one of the most healthy things a church can do is to rally together for a cause, and so it helps with the spiritual health. Spiritual health. When you know you're praying, when you know you're looking forward, not just the next couple of months, but you're like, man, I get to be a part of something that maybe in 25 months, we'll be like those people celebrating this new ministry tool. And now you begin we're going to have prayers, we're going to have devotions, and we all start doing it together. Your spiritual health, listen, we've done it before. Spiritual health of our body goes through the roof. Not only spiritual health of our body, but spiritual and relational unity. Unity. You know why it's unity? Because just like a team who has won a championship, just like a military that wants to take the island, just like a company that whenever you're getting people together, and there's a lot of individuals doing their own thing, and then you're like, hey, you part of the group? Yeah. Is everybody all in? Yeah, we're all in. Okay, you know what? We all have this goal. We're going to plant a new church in St. Petersburg. We're going to, for 25 months, we're going to make sure we can build another tool. We're all, and it just unifies you. And it unifies you not behind your own personal vision or your individual. It unifies you. Maybe you're a single, maybe you're a college, maybe you're like a lot of us. I keep reminding people, when we planted this church, we were all in our early 20s. I was the oldest person when this church started, and I was 27 years old. Everybody else was in their early 20s. So it's just an amazing deal, but it unifies you. And then when we were able to get this property, before we built there's unity. When we plant other churches, when we start Go Missions, when we had mission trips, there's unity. When you do something like Nexus, which is a huge deal, it unifies you because now you're like, you know what? I can do more as a team. I can do more. Paul calls it the body of the church. I can do more together than I can ever do by myself. Those of you who raised your hands, I hope you also look around. Brian and Julie, of course, Kelly had to come. We were married, but Brian and Julie didn't have to come. Brian and Julie, I hope you look around and go, we stepped into the moment. We're 23 years old, new married, no kids. We left everybody in Texas and moved out here to plant a church. We stepped into the moment and we became the nexus, the connection point for all of you. That's incredible. And so now all of us, we unify and we become the nexus for the next 25 years. We become the nexus for the aspect of the next ministry. What's the purpose? It is unity. But there's a practical purpose, right? I mean, it's just obedience. There's absolutely spiritual health. There's absolutely unity. But then there's just the practical thing, which is what? We need more space. We need more space. So this is the picture there. That's the atrium that's going up there. We just need more space for current ministries. This is awesome. But first service, most Sundays, Mr. Clint upstairs in that space has over 60 kids. 60. They broke up kindergarten, first grade, and put them in that little room back. And it's incredible ministries. Everything's awesome. But we need what's next. There's too many kids up there. We need more space. Over the next couple of weeks and months, you'll hear more about this, but it's just about more space, all right? But then the last thing is this. The last thing is this, is that we need more space for the next generation. And so we need more space for kids. When we do the renovation over here, our downstairs will become more safe. When we have our own designated office space, this wing down here that now we have to use for offices with all of our staff during the week now becomes open for 5 days a week ministries, right? For the current. Do we have everything specific that we know we're going to be doing 5 years from now? Absolutely not. Are we going to be doing something? Absolutely. You know how you do something? You can't do something then until you do something now. That's Nexus. So we don't have everything. Well, this ministry. We got a few things. But you can't be led by, this is what we need right now. Now, some people say on Sunday mornings, this is a great crowd. We feel like we have some space in here. Of course, you know why? Because we built this place big enough that we wouldn't have to keep building and building and building. Did we need all the space when we built it? No. Do we need it today when you're all here? Absolutely. Do we know that in 2005? No. You build. But so we have adult space here. You know that our middle schoolers use the school behind us. We worked that great deal out. So we do need future generations. And so over the next couple of weeks and months, we are going to rally together to plant a new church. We're going to rally together to celebrate the past. But here's one thing. I don't want to spend a lot of time celebrating the past. I want to make sure that we're celebrating the past, but it motivates us to the future. That you and I now become just like the people in 2002, 2003, and 2004 to say, what is next? What is God doing? And what would happen? Maybe I can be the next Brian and Jenny Russell. Maybe I can be Brian and Julie Hart. What would happen if you say, you know what, we're all in and we're going to raise our family here? Or maybe you've already raised your family, but now you're a part of Team Church and you're like, we don't have kids anymore, but we know that ministry is hard. We know the next generation is challenged, and we will be a part of Nexus because we will be the critical part, the connection point of harmony from from our past to what God's going to do in the future. Here is a Nexus challenge for all of us. This is huge. If we don't model the faithfulness of the past now, in the future, no one will have a faithful example to model. What does that mean? Many of us know in the parenting issue, right? If your father didn't have a father figure, they probably didn't father you very well. And so now we have so many generations that how do I parent? I don't know. I didn't have a dad. My mom did this. You get the idea, right? Same thing. 25 years from now, when I'm as good looking as Roger is right now at 72, who will that generation, my grandkids, your kids, who are they going to model after? They're not modeling after the people of 2002, 2003. A lot of them be dead. It's just true. We don't live forever. If you're in your 70s right now, are you going to be here 25 years from now? Maybe. So my grandkids can't model after Roger. I'm pulling for you, Roger, but I don't think 100 is happening. There you go. That guy will make it happen. He makes it happen. But if that generation, the people who were here, if they're not, and then we don't, who's the next generation model after? That's what that means. It's a nexus. It's a nexus. And it's critical. It's critical. We need to plant more churches. We need to enforce our Go missions. And we absolutely have to have more ministry tools. What is a building? It is a ministry tool. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be talking and casting vision. And I hope that you will come alongside many of us who've been praying for over a year. Is our 25-year anniversary, is that the time to start looking at the next 25? We all believe it was God's timing. Hopefully you'll join us and we will see more Merediths. Babies, toddlers, elementary, middle, college. Come back. I'm assuming Brian, Jenny, I'm assuming one day Meredith will get married. Doesn't have to, does not have to. But we've been here long enough. I have dedicated children. Parents brought their babies up, and then that baby has had a baby, and I dedicated that child. That makes me feel very old. But listen, that's church. That's what we're about. We ain't going anywhere. We're staying right here because the world is changing around us, and this is our beacon of hope. The world may change, things that we can't control, but we will be a biblically functioning fellowship right here, ministering with this tool, with home teams, with missions. Nothing changes in the next 25 years. It just gets bigger and better and more impact. That is Nexus. That is what is coming.